Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I don't know about you, but I am ready for the weekend. I think it's supposed to warm up a little bit in New York this weekend, but who knows? It's been pretty cold lately. Um, so anyway, hi, hello. I tried to go live earlier and talk to you guys about why and how I'm not a coach, but I kind of accidentally went into coaching mode, like by accident. So let's do this shit again. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna share my journey and my thought process, but I'm not a coach anymore. So I'm not going to bore you with the coaching details because that's not my vibe. We let it go. We hung up that hat, right? And so let's just get into it. So, like I said, I dropped kind of a bombshell announcement this week. Except it wasn't really a bombshell because it was honestly inevitable. I'm not meant to be a coach. I'm just not. I think I fell in love with the idea of coaching in summer 2021 because after my wedding was over, well, once it finally happened, as many of you know, it took 3 tries. But once my wedding finally did happen, I kind of lost my sense of purpose. So if any of you guys are women or men or whatever who recently married your partner, you might know what I mean when I say that I lost my purpose once my wedding was over. I felt so alone in my human experience. And so I guess I kind of thought, like, maybe I can kill multiple birds with one stone. Maybe I can deal with my loneliness. Maybe I can regain my sense of purpose. And on top of that, I can make some money. Like, amazing. Perfect. So I think that I created this coaching business because I saw other people were doing really successful at it. And I was like, hey, I have a lot to teach. I have a lot to share. I have a lot to talk about. I bet you I can offer something to the world beyond crunching numbers, which is not fun, beyond creating spreadsheets, which didn't light me up. Like, I needed something. I needed validation. And so um, I entered the coaching space for literally lack of a better option. Before I get into why coaching is not the vibe, why it's not for me, and how I figured that out, let me just respond to Carly's comment right now. So, Carly says, I just asked about the Sunboxer. I will go check that, babe. I'm catching up on everything Steph. I love that. No more coaching. I'm excited to listen. Alright, well, stick around. Let's get into it. Alright, so how did I figure out that coaching specifically wasn't for me? How did I know to walk away from it within mere hours of this truth materializing? How did I execute this decision without overthinking, without overanalyzing before, during, or after? How did I do this? How did I decide this without feeling any kind of self-doubt once I made this announcement? Like, it's a pretty monumental decision. I've been working on this shit every single freaking day for almost 2 years. And then, like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. This is not for me. This is not meant for me. I'm distracting myself. And I didn't even think on it. I didn't even sit on it. I just said to Sean, I called him into the room and I said, hey, I don't want to be a coach. And he goes, so what are you going to do about it? I said, I'm not a coach anymore. It was that simple. I didn't need to overthink it. And this is the vibe, guys, of trusting yourself. Deeply trusting yourself. Recognizing, like, yo, this is not a line. This is not the vibe. This is not who I am. I'm not being me. Right? When you can learn to just recognize that and trust that thought is coming through for a reason and maybe you need to listen to it, making decisions like this, no matter how big, becomes so freaking easy. Okay? So this is a little bit about how that all kind of happened for me. I kind of journaled on how this all evolved because it was so fast. It gave me whiplash. It was like 1 second I was a coach, the next second I was just not a coach. So I kind of wrote this in my journal, and I'm going to share it with you. So it's going to be a little bit of a ramble. Carly, I didn't even realize that I've been feeling misaligned, but the moment that I realized it, I think on Sunday, I said it out loud, and I knew. I'm like, that's why something is off. That is why that's why I'm just not excited to market. It's why I'm not excited to write copy. It's why I'm not excited to really do anything in my business, because I wasn't a coach, you know? So, here's what came up for me when I journaled on it. So, for me, I'm somebody who likes to hang out with and talk to people that genuinely want me around. Yeah, Carly, I'm going to share that at the end, okay? I'm just going to, I'll share my definition of what a coach is at the end. But, yeah. Stick around. Okay. So, for me, I'm somebody who likes to hang out and talk to people that genuinely want me around. Right? I hate receiving attention that feels stolen or forced or begged for. Like, I really value so much the opportunity to cultivate a deep, positive energy and experience and presence whenever I'm in the company of other people. So, I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable for a second. My worst memories as a kid and as a teenager always involved being rejected in some way. And like, in hindsight, that rejection was constantly happening because I was being some weird, convoluted, not authentic, people-pleasy version of myself. And then people were obviously not liking that because I wasn't being me. And then I started to believe the lie that I was somehow not enough for years after. So it was a vicious cycle. I was constantly feeling rejected or feeling like people didn't want me to talk or didn't want to hear what I had to say, to losing that relationship, to changing who I was again, and then going through that all over again. Okay? So, fast forward to becoming a coach. Because of all that rejection in my past, I'm hyper aware of how people respond to me. Right? I'm extremely aware when I'm speaking and people aren't paying attention or people are kind of wishing I would shut up. I'm an empath. I'm kind of a human sponge. So I'm very aware when I feel like people are just saying, oh, you're doing great. But actually, I really just wish you would stop talking. So that some of that's perceived in my formerly paranoid head, but some of that is real. Okay? And now that I'm very conscious of who I am and who I want to be, I'm able to call myself out when I'm putting on a little bit of a facade, right? And I'm able to recognize that the world is just a mirror. Like, people aren't responding to me in the energy that I desire because I'm not being who I am. I'm not giving them the best of who I am, right? And so if they're not responding positively to me or in a way that I desire, there's something going on with me. There's something about the way that I'm projecting that's being reflected back at me, right? And that's whether you're showing up online as an online service provider or even within your group of friends. If people are not receiving you with the same energy and excitement that you think you're putting out into the world, you kind of got to ask yourself what's going on here? And is this excitement real? Is what I'm talking about actually true to who I am? Or is this just some weird act that I'm putting on, right? So I was feeling for a while, I'm like, I feel like I'm talking and nobody gives a shit what I'm saying, right? I feel like I'm burning the candle at both ends. I'm making myself crazy. This business just makes me exhausted. It doesn't light me up anymore. And so I was able to realize, well, people aren't responding to me. People aren't lit up by what I'm saying because I'm not lit up by what I'm saying. I'm not lit up by what I'm doing. I'm not lit up by who I'm being. I'm so deflated. And so that was kind of being reflected back at me because it's all a mirror, right? Anyway, I realized that forcing myself on people and demanding money was just another iteration of that awkward song and dance that I've been doing for years. But it was just a new set of variables, a new set of players. Like, I know that that's not what coaching is about. And I honestly don't get that vibe from people that are meant to do great work via coaching, right? I love my coaches, right? Because they are meant to do what they're doing. I was not, right? I love my coaches because they loved the work they were doing. They believed in the work they were doing. And they were meant to be coaches. And I love you guys, but I was just not meant to support you guys as your coach. I'm meant to support you guys in some other way, in a way that actually feels like me, like Steph. Okay? So, the analogy that comes up for me, and this might be a stupid one because I suck at analogies, to be honest. I felt like I was always pretending to be Guy Fieri or Gordon Ramsay or like Top Chef. But like, I can't even cook spaghetti. Like, I burn spaghetti. And so I just felt like such an imposter. I felt like I was pretending that I'm this like amazing Tony Robbins, right? But meanwhile, like, I didn't even like it. I didn't even want to do it. And I wasn't really doing it very actively because it wasn't exciting for me. I avoided it at all costs. Maybe you guys didn't get that vibe. And from the sounds of it, from all the messages that I'm getting this week and from all the conversations that I've been having about this, I don't really think that I gave off that vibe at all, right? Maybe I did. But that's the vibe I got from myself, everything that I'm saying. I felt like constantly, I felt subconsciously like I was forcing myself on you guys in a way that you didn't really want to hear from me. Remember what I said earlier about not liking that feeling of feeling like I'm forcing myself on people? Like, I want to be in rooms where people receive me and hear me and enjoy what I have to say. I have no desire to convince people or try to make people believe me about anything. Like, that's so gross to me. And I couldn't shake it. And then I realized I don't really want to shake it, you know? I don't want to try to work through this limiting belief that I'm not supposed to be a coach. Like, that limiting belief saved me from continuing on a path that wasn't mine to continue on, right? I'm done trying to shove a square peg into a round hole. So, like I said, I think I started the coaching part of my journey for all the wrong reasons. Yes, I want to help people, but mostly I wanted validation and I wanted money. So if you're a coach who's watching this, if you're doing that for validation and money, like, trust yourself. Oh, Carly, I thought you were an amazing coach, but what matters is your passion that drives you. The moment you felt like it wasn't right, you knew your path was going a different direction. Exactly. I appreciate you so much. Maybe that'll come sometime in the future, but I have a feeling I know what's next, but we'll chat in Baxter, okay? And I love you for saying that. Anyway, I started my coaching journey for all the wrong reasons. Like, yes, I wanted to help people, but I wanted quick money and validation. I wanted to prove that I could be of service to the world. So, because I had the wrong reasons going into it, it kind of figures that instead of leading me to money and validation and happiness and joy and just feeling like fulfilled in my purpose, it kind of led to more self-loathing. More than I had when I started. And so when I realized, like, this thing that's taking me away from my family, away from my friends, away from my fitness, whatever, it doesn't feel like when you truly love something in your business, when you truly love something in general, you don't feel like spending time on that thing is taking away from other things, right? And I started to feel that coaching was taking away from other things. It wasn't lighting me up anymore, and it was making me actually feel more lonely, more alone, more frustrated with myself. And I've been down that road before. I'm not doing it again. I'm done. So, anyway, it was obviously eating away at me. It was obviously impacting the way that I was showing up, and that's just not me. That's not me. If you know me, you know that I'm so much more chill and compassionate and funny and just vibey in real life and on calls and in Voxer or however we communicate. I'm such a happier, funner, more chiller, laid back, down to earth person outside of here. But because I was feeling so much bad energy and negative energy towards my coaching business, it was impossible to show you guys the real stuff. Right? I did the best I could, I really did, but I put up a wall, if you will, because I felt like trying to be a coach was, again, it was fitting a square peg into a round hole. I think that's the expression. And it was making me so sad without even realizing it. And so I put up a wall and to protect myself, why can't I talk today? To protect myself, I think I was just not fully showing you guys who I really am. So anyway, who am I? I can't wait to actually get to know you guys as me. Right? This is me. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm a little bit of a squirrel. I'm totally weird. I fucking love that. But this is me. I like to think that I'm pretty down to earth. I'm pretty awesome. And I would never stand for any of the bullshit that I was doing. That I have been doing, trying to pretend to be a coach, which I really truly don't think that I am. Right? Anyway, I just got completely stumbled. This is the real me, by the way. This is me off script. Barefoot in Brooklyn, baby. Yes, I am a hot ass mess, and I'm so proud of it. So anywho, I don't really know what I was about to say there. I got completely tongue-tied. But, you guys deserve to get to know the real me, and I cannot wait. I think you'll like the real me a lot better than the facade I was giving you. It was pretty good. It was a good facade, I think, right? But the real me underneath that facade is way more chill. Anywho. So I'm proud of myself today. And I finally realized that I was just reliving that same old song and dance bullshit again. I was once again falling into my own trap of getting rejected, putting on a facade, trying to use somebody else's narrative and attach it to my own life. And I'm proud of myself that the moment I recognized it, I knew what I had to do and I did it. And I didn't question it. I just hung up the hat and I recognized this isn't for me and that's okay and I love it. So I don't know what's next. I don't. A lot of you have asked me what's next and I love that question. But I also love the fact, and it's a testament to how far I've come in no longer being an overthinker. I love the fact that I don't know what's next. But what I do know is that I need to breathe. I need to give myself space to shift and do what makes me excited. I need to recognize that this is probably my last summer without a child in some stage, probably in my belly. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to spend it doing, or building something that, wasn't exciting. I want to be crazy this summer. I want to have fun. And when I thought about my summer with coaching, seemed like not the vibe, not the fun summer that I was picturing. And picturing it without coaching felt like a relief. And that's when I realized it's time to let this go. So I don't know what's next, but what I do know is I need to breathe. I need to give myself space. I need to shift. I need to remember why I came here in the first place, which is to share my journey, share my story. Remember, kind of reconnect with myself and re-recognize, I had a great job. I had the love of my life. I have so many amazing friends. And I had all that before I started this coaching or this whatever community thing. Why can't I talk right now? I had all the things going into this. Right? But why did I come here anyway? I was looking for connection, conversation, community, respect, love, just common shared experience with other people outside of the people that I already knew. Because I'm such a weirdo, I didn't really have common experiences with anyone. That's a lie. Whatever. Anyway, so I need to reconnect with my purpose and my desire to be here. And the way that I'm going to be doing this for the rest of the summer and probably for a while, is I'm just going to share and speak from my human experience. And I'm going to offer you guys the opportunities to gain perspective, even in areas that I cannot speak, but others in my network can. That's what I'm excited about, to share people, to connect you with people, to connect with other people myself. I'm passionate about community. Don't know where that's going to lead. Don't really care right now. For now, I'm back to basics. I'm back to the reason I came here in the first place. So anywho, I promise, we are getting to the end. We are wrapping up. Okay? If you take anything away from all of this, just remember, it is all a mirror. Everything is a mirror. You can't change the mirror, but if you don't like what you're seeing being reflected at you, you can change what you're doing. So, hopefully that made sense. I kind of just made up that analogy. But, anywho, this little ramble, the final part, the third installment, the very end of it, will be continued in part 3. Probably next week. Maybe the following week. But it's going to be exclusively happening inside the community for Introverts, which you can join via link in my bio. The community is totally free. It's a vibe. It's about to get 10 times the vibe, 100 times the vibe. Now that I'm fully in it, right, and not using it as a weird sales funnel. Anyway, part 3 of my ramble is going to be exclusively inside of that community, because I will probably get canceled if I say what I want to say out here in the wild. it's not that bad, but like it's pretty spicy. And like as much as I'm showing up unapologetically, some things are meant for a more private audience. And I know that if you are joining the group, that's because you opted in. I'm not here to shove my thoughts down anyone's throat who didn't sign up for it, right? Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up. I love you guys. I don't want to spend more time on this than necessary, but I do want to quickly answer Carly's question in the comments. So, the coaching lessons were very valuable. Any past students you had while you were a coach were lucky to carry that education with them. I'm excited to see where you go next. Oh, I love you, and I'm so happy that those lessons were valuable. Don't worry, the lessons are not going away. They will be recycled in some way, shape, or form, because you're right, they were pretty awesome. But that's actually a great segue into your previous question, which is how I define a coach. So, basically I could talk about that for days, but what I'll say is that coaches listen. A good coach spends 90% of their time listening. And that's great. That's great for them. I don't really like listening. I know that sounds horrible. That sounds terrible. Of course I like listening. I like listening to my friends, my family, my partner, my husband. I like having conversations back and forth. Conversation is my favorite thing. But I like that because I genuinely like connecting with people, and I don't really want to get paid to do that, if that makes sense. And I've been listening my whole life. I've been listening to people share their stories. I am a great listener, right? But when I have a platform, when I come on here and I want to have a platform, I'm here to share my story and I'm here to share my truth and my experience, right? That's why I'm here. I want to speak my truth, not other people's, right? So it was a little bit of a disconnect because I was trying to like infuse my experience with other people's, and I was trying to almost like tell them what to do instead of asking them how they were meant to do it, if that makes sense. So I came on here to share my truth, not to attempt to speak to other people's. And so that's really the core disconnect. But I'm going to go into that in part 3 of this little ramble, because I've got a lot to say about what it looks like to be a coach and what I think the coaching industry has unfortunately become. But anyway, thank you so much for checking in and watching. I love you. And yeah, this went on kind of a while, so thank you guys for watching and sticking around. And go join that community. It is a vibe. We're going to do a book club. We're going to do more contests, more polls, etc. Okay, that is all. I need to go eat dinner.